MMAsucker.com. I'm Trevor Duick here with Rory MacDonald. Just had the press conference. UFC 174 coming to your backyard, man. Finally, it's been a while. Obviously, you're very stoked about coming back home.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's been a while, and last performance didn't go the way I wanted it to, but I've come a long way since then, and very excited.
I remember talking to you way back in the day, and you were talking about your experience of fighting in front of a big crowd and how you were sort of a little bit taken back by it when you walked out and heard the fans' response. And I guess it played with you a little bit. There's probably a lot of emotion going into that. And now over the years, you've had to work at controlling that emotion when you're going into the octagon. You're obviously a veteran now, but you're coming back here. You're probably going to get that huge response once again. Are you looking forward to it? Just because I think you're probably a little bit of a different fighter mentally now.
Yeah, I definitely have come a long way mentally, and that was a blessing. Going through what I did here in Vancouver, it was an amazing experience, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I really enjoyed that, and I only expect more. With the growth of the popularity of the sport, and my fights since then, I think the following and the sport's going to even be better this time.
Well, here you are, man. You're going to be fighting Tyron Woodley at UFC 174, and it's going to be a #1 contender fight. Well, at least that's what people are talking. Your last fight against Demian Maia, you looked fabulous. Now you got a different challenger, and Tyron has got some different problems for you. I'm curious on how you're going to prepare for him. He's obviously a high-level wrestler. I know you got some beasts in TriStar. Is there something that you're going to do a little bit differently for this training to prepare for him? Because against Condit, he looked like a beast. I mean, he was coming at Condit pretty hard.
Oh yeah, he's a very good opponent. I don't lack any motivation for this fight. I was very excited to be matched up with him. Hearing that Johnny was injured, this is a great fight for me, and I feel very confident for it. My training's going great right now, and as far as training for this opponent, it's going to be the same as I always do, the same recipe I always follow, as following my coach's advice, and same program I usually do, and getting myself ready.
So you're not going to be bringing any guys in from outside of TriStar at all to help you with sort of a higher level wrestling? I know you guys got some great wrestlers there.
There's a possibility, but I think just the depth of fighters that we have there, and between there and Renzo Gracie in New York City, I'll be very well prepared for this fight.
Now, you were on Twitter immediately after Johnny Hendricks had won his fight and had the title. You went out there and said, hey, what do you think about me going out there? And obviously he has the injury, but were you disappointed? Like, were you really jonesing for that title fight?
I wasn't disappointed. I mean, I expected it to go the way it did. I mean, obviously I was throwing it out there. Same with Tyron and Hector and Diaz and whoever else it was. Everyone was lobbying for it, and that's what we're all aiming for. And I think if me and Tyron put on a good fight and I come out dominant, I think that shot is mine.
You said something interesting at the press conference, is that over the last 4 or 5 years you've really evolved as a fighter, and that your style at UFC 115 isn't necessarily the way that you fight now. There's been people who've been somewhat critical of the way that maybe since you've been at TriStar your style has changed up a little bit, that maybe you're not as aggressive, or people are sort of there's always haters out there, right? But people have noticed that maybe you're not as aggressive as you used to be. You look at that fight against Nate Diaz, you're throwing him around. You're looking at you fight with Carlos Condit here in UFC 115, you seem to be the guy that was pushing the pace. Is it safe to say that you've changed your style up, and you're a little bit more conservative with how you are in the octagon, or does it just change based on the opponent?
It's safe to say that I am, but it's more calculated. It's not that I'm afraid to engage. I think you could tell by my fight with Demian Maia that wasn't the issue. It's different opponents call for different techniques and solutions to their problems.
Speaking of Demian Maia, in that fight, you've obviously, or have you rewatched the fight since then? You've watched video of your performance against Demian?
I may have.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think that there was points in that fight where you probably could have pushed the pace even more to try to finish it, because Demian just seemed to have nothing left in the tank?
I was pretty tired. I was very busy, and defending takedowns against a guy like that, it may look a little easier on TV than what it was. The guy was very strong, and he shot 22 times or something like that. It was a ridiculous amount of wrestling, and it was a lot of work. So I felt that my pace was good. Obviously more is better.
Yeah. Okay. I have a question for you, actually. Did you watch Tough Nations at all?
Yes.
Yeah, you obviously had some friends and teammates on there. Cajun Johnson, who looked really good, and obviously had the heartbreaking loss in the semis to Chad Laprise. Just your thoughts on sort of Cajun fighting alongside you here at UFC 174, him as well being a local guy, and finally getting that shot in the big show.
Yeah, no, it's very exciting. I'm happy for him. You know, he's a good friend of mine and training out in TriStar with me. And you know, I was pulling for him to get that shot. And when I heard that he was, I was very happy for him. It's gonna be great having another BC guy on the card.
So, you know, we're only a couple months away from the fight. I'm just curious on how you sort of see the fight going.
I feel that I'll be very dominant. I feel that I'll have a very impressive performance. You know, the fight could go any way, and I'll be prepared for the fight to go anywhere. Ground, standing, wrestling, wherever the fight may take place, I'll be well prepared and ready to put on an impressive performance.
There you have it, Rory MacDonald here on MMAsucker.com. Rory, appreciate it, and all the best in Vancouver at UFC 174.